But first to breaking news. Facebook has suspended its fact-checkers in a stunning move after a series of posts related to The Voice was censored and labelled misinformation. In a major move, Meta, the owners of Facebook, suspended their fact-checkers at RMIT University, which will no longer have the power to judge what's true or false on Facebook. And an investigation is now underway. This comes after Sky News revealed RMIT FactLab's director Russell Skelton, who's married to ABC journalist Virginia Trioli, was campaigning for The Voice to Parliament, resharing slogans and images created by Linda Burney. And another fact-checker at RMIT, Renee Davidson, risked breaching its impartiality requirements when she shared on her own social media a post that accused opposition leader Peter Dutton of fear-mongering through racism. Meanwhile, their fact-checking unit has been censoring information that doesn't support The Voice to Parliament. According to Sky News, an audit of the RMIT Voice fact-checks showed that the 17 checks between the 3rd of May and the 23rd of June this year all targeted anti-Voice views. One of the posts they labelled misinformation, as you know, was by my Sky News colleague Peter Credlin. She was censored for a post where she said the Uluru Statement from the Heart was longer than a single page and ran to 26 pages. It's a contested point, subject to debate, but it's hardly misinformation. Uluru co-author Megan Davis has said the same thing, that the Uluru Statement in full runs to some 18 pages. She said this multiple times, but she was never censored for the same remarks.
It's very important for Australians to read the statement. And the statement is also much bigger. It's actually 18 pages.
But the Facebook fact-checkers at RMIT labelled Credlin's comments, very similar to that, false and misinformation, as you can see on the screen. Well, the ABC's Media Watch didn't agree with this decision, saying, like I've said, that at the very least, it's a disputed point.
Should Facebook have labelled her claim false? A spokesperson for Meta told Media Watch it wasn't us.
This fact check was applied by an independent fact checker and not Meta.
And that is true. But it was Meta that slapped it on. And given that there may be some point in what Credlin is saying, we think a disputed label would be more appropriate.
Former Prime Minister John Howard, who I've interviewed about The Voice at length for tonight's program, well, he criticised the censorship that's underway. He's highly concerned as well about the Albanese government's proposed legislation to further crack down on misinformation. He says governments have no place to be policing free speech and that defamation and other laws already do this perfectly well.
We have a free press. I mean, we criticise it and it can be very uncomfortable. I was made very uncomfortable by the free press on many occasions when I was Prime Minister, but that's their job.
And my full interview with John Howard is coming up later in the show. But many other posts from the No campaign have also been censored by Facebook. The Institute of Public Affairs has had at least 6 posts removed. Former Liberal MP Nicole Flint has also had comments that she made here on Sky News blocked as well. In a statement about its decision to suspend this Australian fact-checking unit, Facebook said, the International Fact-Checking Network requires participating organisations to demonstrate a commitment to non-partisanship and fairness. It said the IFCN will determine whether RMIT FactLab's expired certification should be reinstated. Considering both the nature of the allegations against it and the upcoming referendum, we've decided to suspend RMIT from our fact-checking program pending the IFCN's decision. We remain steadfast in our commitment to stop the spread of misinformation on our services and continue to partner with AAP and AFP in Australia. Well, the chair of Australia's powerful Intelligence and Security Committee, James Paterson, is demanding to know why Facebook has been allowed to censor important political debates like The Voice. He says a private company interfering with the free speech of Australians is a cause for concern under any circumstances. He says the decision of a foreign headquartered social media platform to interfere with legitimate public discourse during a referendum to change the Australian Constitution is particularly egregious and cannot go unaccounted. And James Paterson will join me on the show tonight to speak about this. But let's look at where this all began, this claim that the No campaign was spreading misinformation. Well, in Parliament, of course, with both the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and the Indigenous Affairs Minister Linda Burney accusing the No campaign of misinformation. It was Albanese who said that it was a conspiracy to suggest the Uluru statement ran for more than one page. And then fact checkers followed suit and censored this claim, even though, as we've just shown you, Megan Davis time and time again herself called it an 18-page document.
This is a ripper. That is the Uluru Statement from the Heart on an A4 bit of paper. Nothing exposes the falseness of the arguments being put by the No campaign than this conspiracy theory and nonsense. Something that has been out there, like a whole lot of the QAnon theories. We have all sorts of conspiracy stuff out there.
Every bit of disinformation and misinformation and scare campaigns that exist in this debate.
Clearly, the signed document is one page and the supporting documentation runs longer. But if you have a view one way or the other, you're entitled to that view and you shouldn't be censored for it. And this is a serious issue, the curtailing of free speech and political opinions, particularly on the basis that they're misinformation. It shouldn't be a word bandied about so easily. They may be opinions you don't agree with. They may be unfashionable opinions. But it doesn't make them false or conspiracies. On the eve of Anthony Albanese announcing the date for the Voice to Parliament referendum, it's critical that both sides are allowed to have their say so that voters can make up their minds. Former Prime Minister John Howard says this is a critical point, that Australians don't like to be told how to think, not by companies or sporting codes, and certainly not by Facebook fact checkers.
Australians do not like being bullied. They do not like receiving condescending advice. We have this, as I said, this scepticism, you know, what are they up to? What do they want? That's the sort of reaction that you get, and I don't think that's going to help the yes case.